How y'all doing? If you like reseller content, toy content, like, subscribe, comment below. We got a pile of Game of Lifes, and then we have a game. I don't know what I'm doing with it, but at $2, I couldn't really miss on this. This is Jaws from Ravenburger. It's not the vintage Jaws game that came out with the movie, but it's something that came out down the road. Seemed interesting. $2. Figure it's either going to be parts or it's going to be a whole game. It's in decent shape. So let's start going through these lives. Alright, so the 4 games we buy for parts are Game of Life, Monopoly, Clue, and Sorry. Life hasn't changed a ton across time. The only thing that's really changed is there's a vintage version of the cars with the pegs, and the spinner has changed color. And I don't deal with a ton out of these. There are a lot of parts. They don't sell. The only things that sell are the cars and pegs. They'll sell very well. And the spinner will actually sell. Older ones, the money will sell. Have any of the old ones? These are all, I believe, exactly the same or close to it. The pain here is enough pegs to sell. And that's where we run into problems sometimes. I've accumulated a lot of spinners. They do move, just not robustly and not for the amount of these games that I purchase. So I probably sell maybe one a week, if that. But I generally pick up at least 2 or 3 of these. Today I only got 1. But I already had a pile of them, so. Let's get this sorted. Alright, so from those 3 boxes, I got 1, 2, 3 spinners. I got 2 full sets of vehicles, 2 sets of the pegs, and then I had not quite enough to make a 3rd set, and also I only had 2 cars in one of the boxes. So I went into my tackle box of parts, and I had the pegs, but I don't have the cars in the right configuration. I got 3 minivans, 3 like Subaru or 4 Subarus, and then a whole bunch of vans, which is what they went to later, but I don't have enough to make a 5 count, so I'm actually kind of stuck. So that just ends up being spare parts, but I know I have plenty of pegs now, which is good. So 6. So we're at break even with this, and then we have this other derivative of Game of Life that actually sells pretty well called Twists and Turns. So then we have Game of Life Twists and Turns. This is like you start as the kid and then grow up, which is a little different. So like the pieces are different, they do sell, and this one's an electronic version. Now, several videos ago, I got a box that was oddly wicked heavy, and this one kind of is too. And I believe it's from the same store, so I'm wondering if I've run into something where I'm going to be disappointed that it's not what it's supposed to be. Could be good, could be bad. Okay, well, stupid heavy. Why is it so heavy? So we have the unit. Anytime there's an electronic unit involved, it's going to be worth doing. I don't think I've ever tried to sell the spinner because this is huge. I'll set it aside. Yeah, so this has more than 1 board in it. We got that board. Unless the game comes with 2 boards, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I guess maybe it does. We have score pads, we have cards, we have pegs. This doesn't have pegs. Why are there green pegs? I thought this had like a skateboard that turned into a car. They may have changed it over the years. The money is still in a package. Yeah, this is what I thought I was getting. These arrows. Like, this is from the last one I did. I think somebody threw 2 games of life in here. Along with a lot of cat hair. A lot of vehicles. Let me get this sorted. Alright, so as expected, it was actually a mix of stuff. I don't think I don't have a complete anything, as it turns out. So I have, this goes to Twist and Turns. This goes to a modern game of life where it has boys, girls, and pets. Then there's an old set, which I actually, with the other stuff, I had enough to complete. And now we have this battery operated guy, and I don't think I have enough cards. I'm going to take one last look, and then we'll fire this up and see if we can get it working. Alright, so I did actually find the card that was missing. It was in the box. This is a 4-player game, 4 cards. And hopefully this isn't beat up. If it is, we're going to look up the value before I attempt to fix it. Yeah. So that's what that looks like. So batteries blew up pretty bad. So when you do this, you just got to make sure you don't break that little spring at the bottom because it can fuse to the battery. Let's see. It's actually not terrible though. So we'll give it a shot, see if we can get it to work without having to clean it. And we do. We're good. Alright, so we don't have to really do anything with it. So we'll go ahead and look it up now and see what we can get out of this. Alright, so Game of Life Twists and Turns. 1,000 results. Right off the bat, we have the Life Pod with the 4 cards, and they're asking 26 bucks. So, see how that goes. But the prices on this game are actually weirdly high. I haven't found one in good enough shape to attempt to sell, though. So, right away, we're noticing this spinner doesn't go to this. This has to go to the new version. I knew it was a white spinner, but I've never bought a new version. So that's junk. I'm not going to even bother with it. And then we have all the individual pieces. So the units, price kind of all over the place on that. And this is what I was talking about, the skateboard that turns into a car with these arrows. I think it maybe it's like a skateboard, a go-kart, and then a car or something, but all I have are the arrows, so that's going to be spare parts. Yeah, so I'm interested if I do ever run into one of these whole, what we can get for it. So 1,000 results. 136. So that's not fantastic, but 28 bucks, $30. This is kind of one to look for if it's in good shape. This one's just not, unfortunately. But here's what we're looking for. Parts. So $23 with all the cards. $20 without. Just the cards. 22. So we'll just do we'll do 20 with cards. That's an excellent pickup. And then we have another set of these. Let's see. Let's call it 10. Nah. Closer to that. Sure. All right. So we've made our money. So now let's look at this Jaws. I'm good right now. Well, we're gonna see what this Jaws is about. So picked up for $2. Ravenburger makes some really nice stuff. They do puzzles, but they do some board games, and they're a pretty desirable name. They get some good licensing going. So Jaws is timeless, right? I'm hoping if they bothered to remake the game, that people bothered to buy it. And that it would be interesting to play. So we want games that are collectible, games that are playable, and parts for the other two. So I'll look this up in a bit, see what's in it first. Now, something I didn't notice is that the box has an enormous cut in it. I don't know how I didn't notice that. I think that just opened up just now and the tape was holding it shut or something. But yeah, I'm not going to be able to sell this as a game. This is actually split through. That is wild how I didn't see that. Definitely didn't do it myself. I didn't use my finger here, so we have a board. That's nice quality. And then I guess you're like on the ship for the second part or something. Rules, obviously this has all been punched out. And we got cards. Got some kind of shark tracker that somebody wrote in. Okay. So let's take that off. All kinds of parts. We got wooden bits. We got cards. So before we get too crazy, now that we know we can't sell it as a boxed game at any rate, why don't we look up what this even goes for so we can decide what we're going to do with it. Because at $2, I just thought it'd be a fun thing to look at. Jaws Ravenburger. I'm going to put Jaws board game so we can look at the vintage Jaws just to see what that's like. You know, use this as a learning thing here. So 530. So we have the Ravenburger one. That's decent money. That's too bad. I mean, I like to see over 20 at any rate. But this is the vintage one. It has like a plastic shark. I really don't know what it was. $59 shipping. That's pretty odd. Gloomhaven. It might be. Oh, I don't know if Ravenburger made that. I don't think they did. I think that was an Asmodee. Oh, Jaws. Okay, never mind. So that's a module. You got some parts for this. You got parts for the other one too. So definitely going to keep an eye on the other Jaws as well. So why don't we just go to sold and we'll kind of learn about both of these at the same time. 535, 241 sold, brand new. Yeah, brand new, $20. So we weren't going to do anything with this anyways. So we're just looking for parts, basically. Vintage Jaws lower teeth. Yeah, so vintage Jaws is definitely going to be one to find out in the wild. 100-something bucks. for sure. So the game is selling. I'm not seeing a ton of parts for it. Now this doesn't bother me because in the past, with games that had no parts for sale, I just did a listing of all the parts in the game and it was purchased. So if the game is 20 bucks, if I sell all the parts for 10, it's cheaper than buying a whole new game. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to make a ton off of it. But it's a listing and we tripled up. So not a bad day at all. So if you like reseller content, toy content, like, subscribe, comment below. Thank you all for watching and I'll see you next time.